golf statistics. I'm not a golfer, but it looks like a lot of fun to be outside all the time playing that game, so I kind of like it in that regard. We have some information from the PGA Tour in 2013, and they took all of the PGA is the Pro Golfers Association, and that's a group of people who are in this tour, and they go around to all the different golf courses, and they're the best golfers in the United States, maybe the world, because I think we might be one of the few countries that actually plays golf. But they go around to all these different golf courses around the country and compete. They're, like I said, they're the best golfers, and so if you take data from them, it's for the top-notch players. So we took data from them and how far they are from the hole, and they're trying to put the golf ball into the hole. And so this is what percent of the people from this tour made the putt if they were a foot from the hole. 100% made the putt in the PGA Tour 2013. But the further away you get, you can see the percentages are going down. So if you're 9 feet from the hole, only 43% of those best golfers in the United States made the putt. And the further away, if they're 25 feet away, only 10% of the golfers could make the putt. And this is the PGA Tour people again. So here's a graph of that. And you can see that it has kind of a curved line. When we looked at linear regression, that would not work here because this is not a straight line, but it is a curved line. And so that means that an exponential equation, like what we saw with the compounding of interest and the continuous compounding of interest, those both had an exponential shape as well, only they were growing. This is decreasing because as the distance gets farther, the probability of them making it, or the percent of time that they make the putt, reduces. Well, we can take this information, and you can see that black line. That's what Excel calculates to be the regression equation for the data from the PGA Tour. And interestingly, it really follows that line pretty closely. So we can use that information and find a probability of making a putt by the distance from the hole, and you just have to know how many feet you are away from the hole, and you plug it into this little formula. So using this tour information, and you might have a different formula from a different year of PGA data, but this one happens to be the 2013 data. You might use a different one for your calculations. But you just use the numbers that are given, and here is where you're going to plug in the number of feet that you are from the hole. So using this function, find the probability of making a 19.5 foot putt. First, I can come back up to the graph, and I can look here, and I can see it's going to be less than 20%. I can come up here and say a 19-foot putt is probably going to be between maybe 14 and 16%. So I can get two estimates that way, but using this formula, I can get an even closer number. And so I'll put in the probability of a 19.5 foot putt is going to be 1.1385 times 0.902126 raised to the 19.5. Now, think about the order of operations, because that definitely makes a difference here. We can't multiply before we handle the exponent. That's our rule. So we have to do this part first. We have to take that exponent first. And as long as you do that, the rest of the formula is cake. So let's take a look at what it looks like. We do the 0.902126 to the, so we're going to do the exponent key, to the 19.5 equals, and we get that 0.134, etc. I'm just going to leave it sit there on my calculator, because the next thing that I have to do is multiply out here by this 1.1385. So just times 1.1385. Double check my numbers went in correctly. They did. Push equals. And I have the probability of making that 19.5 foot putt is 0.1528. and that means I have a 15.28% chance of making the putt. But I was asked, just so you remember, I was asked for the probability, and probabilities are between 0 and 1. So the thing that I need to report is this 0.1528 as my probability of making the putt.